This is Zenzi and Zenzi, and this is a quick Socratic improv. I was just thinking, I'm trying to get myself pulled together. I've actually created a large index card with 4 bullet points that go 1A, C, B, D. It's how my mind works. And we want my mind to stay working as it is, drawing complex, logical conclusions from premises that come to me from having my subconscious mind dwell in interconnection. I live in an altered state of consciousness, and I have been punished, bullied, and left for dead because I demonstrate the evolution of consciousness. Now, many people, in fact, just about anyone who's talking about it, is looking for the elevation in consciousness. That is the sort of languaging that almost guarantees we won't find it. Because what it actually is the expansion of consciousness. And expansion is a very key visual word to what has happened to me after Kundalini awakening. That I can be in trance every day, and I've been doing trance every day for 3 1/3 years. Save my life. Approximately 18 times, as I have this magnetic midlife metamorphosis from spending 50 years as a polar bear to being in transition to be a giraffe, ready to see the future just because of my physiological apparatus, but also fulfilling the role and the destiny of becoming the Trojan giraffe of whiteness. That's right. There's a lot to that persona of mine and manifest destiny that I'm working on. But what I want to talk about today is something pretty significant. It's the truth that our civilization needs to be called what it actually is: plantation capitalism. And we have been enslaving and imprisoning valuable lives for 500 years of whiteness that neglects the robust, successful 200,000 years of African ancestors who ensured that you and I exist today. We are all African ancestrally. And anyone who is either intentionally or unintentionally, or just not in the game of being anti-racist, is promoting a civilization that separates our species out erroneously into those that matter and everyone else. And there's an iceberg analogy here. The tip of the iceberg, when the founding fathers of the U.S. of Hypocrisy wrote all men, not only did they leave slightly more than half of the species out of having rights, but they didn't mean all men. They meant all pale, rich, educated, men. They meant a very tip of the iceberg fraction of men. And how they got away with this in their own mind by saying all men was by dehumanizing men with darker skin. This is something that I stand against and will do on a stage with your help, using logic plus love intertwined. It is crucial, absolutely crucial, that we unite as one species, that we demolish racism first. Because as the Edinburgh climate change summits showed, we cannot solve a planetary problem like climate change in these tiny little silos of nation states. We must have everyone thinking and behaving in a way that doesn't hurtle our species towards self-extinction in approximately 30 years. There is so much wrong. All of the unintended consequences and some rather heinous intended consequences of industrialization and hyper-digitalization since the 1980s. That's why everything's speeding up. Is that computers are machines that can out-process these limited left brains that we are forced to dwell in order to make a living. I had a toxic mold exposure, and my left brain was a casualty. But what that did is open me into the voluminous, loving, majestic right brain that is creative, but much more crucially, it is the gateway to interconnection. That's why I can sit here and try and save my own life by insisting that the way I'm going to do it is to get us all understanding that we're all African ancestrally. Papua New Guineans, Aboriginal Australians, Hawaiian Islanders. They are all Africans who went on rowabout. They are my ancestors. And those African ancestors, I call my subconscious my inner African, because I can understand, using evolutionary logic, how to use the concept of back to the future to align us more with what we are as beings. The magical, majestic truth that we are beings of electromagnetism. It's as scientific, quantum physics specifically, as anyone needs. You just have to have a philosophical brain to start combing through all the bleeding edge science and making a better, more precise, more inclusive, and equitable civilization. I am the founder of #WellbeingPhilosophy. Payroll name Deb Helfrich, and you can find me on the internet at debhelfrich.squarespace.com. Harmony.